Today's episode is brought to you by Mood. Mood was created in 2002 as an online source for 100% federally legal cannabis grown on small, pesticide-free American farms.
So we're going to tell you about the online cannabis company that's revolutionizing how we deal with life's challenges, from sleepless nights to stress-filled days. Mood.com has created an entire line of not just gummies, but functional gummies that target specific health concerns with 100% federally legal THC blends. They'll deliver them discreetly right to your doorstep.
What makes these gummies different is how they've actually paired the THC and other cannabinoids with herbs and adaptogens. So you're really not going to find gummies like this in dispensary or truly anywhere for this matter. The one that is by far the most intriguing to me, which I think it'll be for Melissa, is the PMS one.
Most definitely. I have cramps. I have discomfort where my head is hurting. I also have, my mood is all over the place when I'm PMSing. So this is there to help for the difficult times in your difficult cycles. And I am so excited to try the PMS Support THC gummies. And you can get 20% off your first order at mood.com with promo code BLAME.
And they literally have gummies for truly everything. Immune support, menopause relief, PMS symptoms, mental clarity, schmexual arousal. And each one is crafted
Schmexual?
Yeah, schmexual.
What's schmexual? Why are you whispering? We're adults here.
We are adults here. If you're an adult, enjoy your weed and your sex. Best of all, not only does Mood stand behind everything with an industry-leading 100-day satisfaction guarantee, but as we mentioned, listeners get 20% off their first order with code BLAME.
So head to mood.com, browse their amazing selection of functional gummies, and find the perfect gummy for whatever you're dealing with. And remember to use code BLAME at checkout to save 20% on your first order.
Subtle results, still you, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
The rural way of life is about making everyone feel at home. Tractor Supply chose advanced 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business to transform intelligent customer service. Together, we put the power of AI to work across 2,200 stores, keeping things running seamlessly inside, curbside, and countryside. This is elevated customer experience. This is Tractor Supply with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
Hello.
Hi, Megan.
Oh, I didn't tell you when I said we were coordinating. I have a little pink bow on my shirt that matches your pink shirt.
I just thought you meant it just feels springy.
It is. We have rosy tones. We're looking very cute. You can see how cute we look over on Patreon. But yeah, welcome to another episode of Don't Blame Me, where we are going to give you some wonderful, life-changing, amazing, fantastic advice. Do you think they'll take it?
Sometimes. I always wonder about the people that never call us with an update. How'd that go?
And I understand having to push things so far out of your brain because you're didn't go well, and I don't want to circle back to it. And you know what? That's okay. I think we've all been there. We've all done stuff like that.
Yeah. So, hope you're having a great day today.
We do. Even I hope Even the girl who wanted to date the man in jail who said he's a good Christian man. I hope you're also having a good day today.
Actually, I just hope you have the day that you deserve. I'm not going to say that.
No, and she doesn't mean that she means it passive aggressively if you deserve a bad day. But she means it genuinely. If you deserve a good day, she hopes you have a good day.
Yes, I do.
Good day, sir. And good day, sir. So, yeah, we're going to give advice. If you want to call in for an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. We also have a form that you can fill out that is linked in the show notes as well as in our social bios. But for all of it, you have to pee. I don't have to pee. You have to be 18 or over. And we need to know your age and we need to know what's happening in your life. But we do not need to know your name. It is all anonymous. But we need to know the important facts, because without the important facts, we can't give you the best advice. Like you might be, we might be giving you something that's like not entirely helpful because you're not given all of those details. And it could be you're not giving the details because you're like, well, I don't want them to like read too much into this. Unfortunately, we are going to read into it. And if you give us less information, we will read into that lack of information more. We will notice if you don't say your age and your partner's age, better relationship. We will notice if you are talking about drama moving in with your significant other and you haven't told us how long you've been together. Like we're going to pick up on those things. So just get out of the way. Just tell us.
Right.
We want to be on your side. Yeah. But as
if
always,
there is an age gap, we will judge you, but we will judge you in the context of what you're giving us.
Yes. And we will be able to give you better advice for someone who is in an age gap relation, like how to go about this or what to do, all of these things. Like we want to help you because you're the one calling into the podcast. You're the one writing in. Like you are the listener. And if we have to piss you off for the greater good, we will. But let us know if you're sensitive because we'll do it as best we can. There's only a couple of people I don't handle with kid gloves. You know? And usually it's not people who say, hey, I'm really sensitive. Because by the way, any of you who say I'm sensitive, please be nice. We never need, like, there's never a part of us that is like, I really wish I could have gone in on this person. Like, usually you're not in the wrong at all.
Usually.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we get into the first one?
I think we should. Would love your advice on an issue I, 25 she, her, have been having with my partner, 25 he, him. We've been together for 10-ish years. Holy shit. And are each other's firsts for everything.
I would hope so.
Please, good God. We've been living together for the last 5.5 years. We are playing house. 5.5 years. And 2 years ago, our sex life started to slow down. At first, it wasn't anything that I was concerned about, but over time, it started to become less and less. And it is almost completely petered out with us going months without having sex. We used to have sex pretty regularly, maybe twice a week. I've brought up how this bothers me many times, and he says his libido has changed since going on medication for anxiety. I completely understand how this plays a role into it, as I'm also on medication for anxiety. However, I haven't felt that side effect quite as much. I've expressed to him that despite this, it makes me feel like he isn't attracted to me anymore and that I'm unwanted. He has reassured me each time that we've talked about it that it's not the case and he will work on changing it. Nothing ever changes, though, and I'm exhausted from bringing it up. Each time we talk about it, it seems to be a very sensitive subject for him, and he beats himself up about it. I know he loves me and is attracted to me, but it's hard for me to fully believe that when there's little to no intimacy. I have a hard time initiating sex now because I'm afraid of rejection. I'm not asking to have sex all the time. Any improvement at all is really what I'm looking for at this point. Where do I go from here? You guys have done so many things in your relationship. Why not therapy?
Yep.
This is like, this is not like there's a direct cause in this of anxiety medication. And
anxiety, period. Anxiety can affect your libido, and then adding the medication on top of that.
And
also.
specifically for men, like, like there, because there's also like a psychological performance anxiety, but that is, as far as I know, I'm pretty sure it is even a more of a common side effect in men from that medication specifically. And women, if you're on birth control, if you're on all that stuff, no one cares about our libido. Like low libido is a side effect in a lot of medication that they prescribe for women. For men, it's like they really care about that. There are fixes for that. There are things that are much more attuned in the medical like space for that. And I think like, you know, I understand it's hard not to like take it personally and all of those kinds of things. But I think that those are two separate issues. Like if you are not feeling like loved and attracted to and like desired and all of that, like he doesn't have to have sex with you to like make you feel wanted and loved.
Desired.
So that to me is like, that's a therapy issue. And then I also think that like someone who you're allowed, like mismatched libidos can come from like anything. It doesn't even have to come from medication. It can just be like how you are. It can also be who you grow up into being, all of that kind of stuff. And to me, I think you could make a relationship work with mismatched libidos if you want to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Both parties have to want to make it work. And to me, I think the thing that's more insulting is like, you don't want to do anything about it. Like,
yeah, because also like different medications can affect your libido differently. So like he could go to his doctor in the same way, like how birth control or any type of medications that we take can also affect how our libido is. And he could go to his doctor and say, hey, my libido is low. Can we try out another medication to see if this helps? He may be afraid that if he goes on a different medication, then his anxiety may change too. And that is another thing to discuss in therapy. But you want to have sex. He doesn't. You don't feel attractive to him, but he is telling you that you are attractive to him. There are both physical and mental things going on here, and you should be treating it from both sides.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think the most attractive thing and like the biggest green flag in a relationship is like two people who want to work on it. Mm-hmm. And it can be like, if you want to move past something as a couple, you can get through anything. Like if you are on the same page for that, you can deal with like any obstacle. You can do that. If you want to make it work, you will make it work. You can't want to make something work or be better for both parties. And in this instance, I think he's feeling a lot of responsibility for you. Like he's feeling like, and he's feeling a lot of shame, and it's like without a doubt a touchy subject. But I think like we're saying, like splitting these two things up into, you are pulling back from me and I'm not feeling like this love and affect. I'm not feeling all of these kinds of things. And like intimacy isn't always sex. Like there's so many other aspects of it. And I can understand if he's feeling like, well, I don't want to like seem like I'm leading her on, that's where it's going to go. And I don't know that it's going to be able to go there in that moment. But that is something that like, if it's a touchy subject and you've tried every which way to talk about it, that means like, if you could have figured out a solution, just the two of you, you would have done it already. That's where like you bring a medical professional in, a psychological professional in, and you talk about it together and you figure it out together. Because if his ultimate answer is like, I'm fine with where I'm at, I don't want to fix it, that's allowed to be a deal breaker for you. But it also might be helpful for you to hear like, okay, like you're not trying to fix it. So like maybe if I just stop trying to fix it, I will feel better about whatever decision I end up making for where our relationship goes next. But like me trying to fix this enough for the both of us, when someone else doesn't really want to fix, you build resentment towards someone.
Right.
So,
and especially since y'all have been together since you were 15 years old, this is the only relationship you have ever been in. And I'm guessing this is the only relationship you ever want to be in. Mm-hmm. So like, you're still young. Let's figure this out together. Like you've been through your teenage years and now your young adult years together. Like you have to keep forging through. But in order to do that, you're going to need to bring in another party and maybe two other parties. 3 maybe if he needs to go to 3 maybe if he wants to go to individual therapy plus couples therapy, and you going to individual therapy too, and talking to the healthcare as in physical healthcare provider about it.
Yeah. I think like moving in together at like 19, and I don't know if you're like 25 and a half and you're saying we've lived together 5.5 years. So you moved in together at 20 or you moved in together at like 19-ish. That is like such a young age for this. And this, how you handle conflict in a relationship and communication is like so imperative just to like the health and success of your relationship long term, not the amount of years you have. Like it's not about like, well, we've lived life together so much, we like are each other's like other half or whatever. But like if you can't like work through things together, whether that communication, all of those kinds of things, you're holding on to something that like that is a commonality that you're going to have no matter how old you are, no matter what life like you're going to need to, and it's a muscle and it's something that you have to learn and practice, and you're not naturally going to be good at it. And I think in general, we think people we've known forever and we're really close to, those are the easiest people to have those conversations with. Sometimes it's not. Like sometimes it's you can't be as straightforward, or you have, there's all of this weight and history to that relationship. And I think that like, yeah, you've done so many life steps. Therapy, I think, is a great one. Couples therapy for you together. Like a really, really, really great one. Especially because it's been going on for 2 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah. And like, as you age, this libido shifts and changes and stuff. And so like, if this is your baseline right now at this age, are you comfortable with it going down from here?
Mm-hmm.
Are you comfortable with it going down? Is he comfortable with it going down from here? And like, you're both going to have to like face have these uncomfortable conversations. And I think doing that with a therapist and medical professionals and stuff like is helpful.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we get back. We'll get into the next one. Is the state of the U.S. making you want to escape?
Yes. And you can take the first step and learn the language before you go. Who makes it easy, Melissa?
Babbel makes it easy.
We are so happy that we have a new sponsor. It is Babbel, and not to fangirl too hard. We begged Babbel. We said, Babbel, Babbel, we need you.
Our audience wants you and needs you and asked us, hey, who do you guys recommend for languages?
And we're happy to say it's Babbel.
Not only do sometimes I want to escape, but I also want to stay here and talk to the people here on the ground, especially in our state of California. So I want to brush up and make my Spanish stronger. I took Spanish throughout school. I took Spanish and French, but I really, really need to strengthen my Spanish. What about you?
Spanish is the language that I grew up in California. So like that is like you said, like from the time that I could talk, like the names of different streets. It was so like ingrained, handcrafted by over 200 language experts. Yeah, they are voiced by, get ready, voiced by real native speakers.
Real people.
Oh, and they're built with science-backed cognitive tools like spaced repetition and interactive features to fit any learning style. I'm a big fan of Babbel games. This girl loves a game.
We both love games.
And like the sentence building stuff. So having it be in like a game format makes me feel, it doesn't make me feel like I'm learning. It doesn't make me feel like I'm being scolded in school. I'm just like learning something new, but I'm mostly playing a game.
We want you to learn another language. So we're teaming up with Babbel to give you 55% off subscriptions, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/don'tblameme.
Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/don'tblameme, spelled BABBEL.com/don'tblameme.
Babbel.com/don'tblameme.
Rules and restrictions may apply. Fresh air, sunshine, and good food. That's what spring is all about. See how I didn't include spring cleaning in there? That's not my favorite. But one of our favorites is HelloFresh. We love HelloFresh. They make it easier to fit quick, home-cooked meals into your schedule every single week by curating delicious recipes. Like they have a pasta primavera, chicken Dijon, and pecan-crusted trout. Okay, fancy. As well as over 100 seasonal snacks, sides, and treats. In 2025, they're evolving to fit every lifestyle by bringing customers even more convenience. And you know, we love convenience here. All without compromising on taste or the homemade quality. They've got new ready-made meals, which offer chef-crafted flavorful dishes that are ready in just, drumroll please, 3 minutes. Every HelloFresh meal uses high-quality ingredients, including seasonal fresh produce and proteins that travel from farm to your doorstep. Plus, the deliveries are super flexible, so you can pause or skip when you need. We have been huge fans of HelloFresh here for so long. You already know that. We love them. I have made so many delicious things. We recently had like a pork mushu lettuce wrap. Oh, when I tell you, it might be going in my personal HelloFresh Hall of Fame. Feel great with meals that fit your spring schedule and make this season even more delicious. Go to HelloFresh.com/blameme10FM to get 10 free meals with a free item for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan.
If you've ever shopped online, and let's face it, who hasn't? Chances are you've bought something from a business powered by Shopify. You know that purple Shop Pay button you see at checkout? The one that makes buying so incredibly easy? That's Shopify. And there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes things easier, and not just for shoppers. They make it easy to start and run your business. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. It gives you a leg up from day dot, with hundreds of beautiful ready-to-go templates to express your brand style so you can get up and running fast. You can tackle your important tasks, from inventory to payments to analytics and more, all in one place. You can also spread your brand's word with built-in marketing and email tools built for you to find and keep new customers. And remember that iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. Your customers already know and love it. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm. Shopify.com/realm.
All right, we're back. Hi, Meghan and Melissa. I need advice on how to be legally petty with my shitty landlord.
Oh, I love this.
Long story short, he kicked me, female 28, and my boyfriend, male 28, out after purchasing the building we live in, claiming that he will occupy our unit at the end of our lease, which he can legally do in Canada, Quebec. But we discovered that he wants to rent it to someone else and raise the rent, which is illegal. We are suing. Don't worry. Great. We are leaving soon to move into our house, and I want to make his life a living hell with a bunch of petty actions that will not affect the apartment itself, but will be annoying for him to deal with. If you have any ideas, that would be great. Thank you for everything you do. You guys are the best.
Do you want to annoy him in the unit? Because I do fear that that's just going to get passed off to the next.
Yeah, I think that's why they were saying something that didn't affect the apartment itself.
Oh, okay. Something just that annoys him.
Yeah. Sign him up for a bunch of listservs, emails, just anything that you come upon on the internet where it's like, put your email address here.
Mm-hmm.
Put his email address in there.
Yeah, remember grocery stores when you could like sign up for like raffles? Just not that he can win things, but like, you know, if people who are doing petitions, sign them up. Click the little check mark. I would like to receive emails about this. Another check mark. I would like to receive emails about this. If you want to use a little bit of money, maybe there's like a Substack about shitty landlords that you could subscribe to. Yeah. Like something that's very poignant and petty.
There might be one where like that you still get, I know I'm signed up for Substacks for that I'm not specifically paying for, but I'm getting emails for them. So even if you don't want to pay any money, you can still sign them up for it.
Well, and then it's even more annoying because you're just getting the teaser. And then you're like, well, now I kind of want to read the rest. Do you know what car he drives? I do think it would be wonderful if, like, you know, you call him from different phone numbers or block phone numbers and tell him his car is getting towed repeatedly.
You could put up signs around town that have his phone number on it that's talking about something that's lost. Yeah. See, because I've done some things that like aren't totally not illegal. Right. So we want to make sure. We're trying to toe the line.
Yes. So it's like Mad Libs. We like pick the thing you do and then it goes, okay, what are the legal ways you can do this? Because again, I have done allegedly, maybe some of the other ones. I think in general, it's important to, post on Reddit, post in a Facebook group, heads up, this guy, you know, not a great landlord, shitty landlord. If people are asking that kind of a thing, places you'd recommend, if you find out what like coffee shop he goes to and you have like a friend who works there, always give him his coffee like lukewarm and then remake it and make it like slightly colder each time. And then when he goes, okay, I'll just get an iced coffee, make that iced coffee hot. And the ice just melting so it's watery. That's another good one. Maybe you get a job as a barista at his favorite coffee shop just to irritate him like that.
There is a whole subreddit called Petty Revenge.
A lot of those are not legal.
I understand that, but you could skirt the line.
Totally.
They live in Quebec. I don't know their laws there.
I don't know your laws. I don't know at all. I will say I also don't know your legal system in the sense that, like, here, when you're suing someone or an entity, you have to be the most prim, polished, buttoned up, non-petty version of yourself until that thing is like settled and done, because it can look poorly on you and affect the results of that. So if that is the case, if you have like I don't know if it's just like a mediation thing or it's just like kind of going through, you check the boxes, you go through the steps, you get compensated for whatever. But if it is like you have a legal representative and you've got like all these different kind of things, I would definitely like ask them, hey, if I prank calls him a couple times, is that going to affect the outcome of this? Remember when I was going to sue our old landlord?
Yeah.
But that man was fucking sneaky and smart and knew that when he wasn't going to give us our entire deposit back, even though legally he had to, he knew the fucking cost of it was the exact, the cost that he was giving me back was the exact amount we'd be able to win in small claims court. And that was the limit. And to get what we deserved, which was more than that, we'd have to go to regular fucking court, which would cost us more money. And I was like, you're a fucking supervillain. Supervillain.
Fees. I said feels.
Did not make me feel good. Also, if you have any French friends, like maybe like have them call him speaking in French, and then like, I don't know, is he like an old Quebecois man? Because there's a lot of tension between old Frenchmen and old Quebecois men about pronunciations and accents and that kind of stuff. Maybe you hire an old man to get under this old man's skin.
I'm looking up petty revenge stuff, and most of it is like relationship based, so you wouldn't be able to do them because you would need to be in his home.
Yeah, don't go. That's not good.
Well, everyone listening, please write in, especially if you're in Canada, with things that skirt the law.
Skirt?
Shopping is hard.
I can never find anything in my size.
I don't even know my size.
I buy my clothes the same place I buy my groceries.
There's a better way. Make it easy with Stitch Fix. Just share your size, style, budget, and done. Your personal stylist sends pieces picked just for you.
That was easy.
Stitch Fix. Online personal styling for everyone. Free shipping and returns. No subscription required. Get started today at stitchfix.com.
Home means something different to everyone. But with Rocket Mortgage, home can mean even more. It can mean a college education, taming your high-interest debt, even a renovation. We've made it easier than ever to use your home equity. That home you worked so hard for, now it can work hard for you. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, and MLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Your burger is served, and this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. Its sweet profile perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger.
That is one perfect combination. Burgers deserve Pepsi.
Shall we get into the next?
Yes.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I'm 27. I use they, them pronouns. I'm calling in because I hate my job, and I'm hoping you can help me pinpoint what I should do next. The leadership at work is toxic, unkind, and uninclusive despite touting diversity. I have a difficult relationship with my manager, and I don't get the support I need. Support for me specifically looks like time and location flexibility, room to learn from mistakes without harsh criticism, and backing me up in projects that she's the lead for. I currently have none of this. I'm doing so little work that I actually enjoy, like data analysis, research, internal processes, and so much work that drains me, like high-masking customer meetings and internal meetings with angry men. For some context, I have ADHD that was just diagnosed a couple of years ago, which I'm now medicated for. I used to be a chronic job hopper. My record for shortest job is 4 months. A lot of the moving around came from boredom and impatience, which Ritalin has helped me cope with better. I've now been at my current job for a year and a half, a record for me. I'm good at my job, evidenced by the fact that I've been promoted twice in the last 18 months. I'm still incredibly unhappy. My current situation isn't sustainable. Work is my biggest source of stress and anxiety, and it's taking a toll on my mental and physical health. I want to leave and pursue something else, but I'm not sure what. I don't want to go into another corporate office role if that means I'll just be unsatisfied and leave after a year. I also can't just quit, as I'm the primary earner between me and my partner. I'd like advice from two people who have an outside perspective and who know my personality a little bit from the live streams. Hey, do you have suggestions for jobs that work for neurodivergent people? I'd also be interested in your take on a career that could work for me specifically in the longer term. Thanks both. Love you.
I, too, was a chronic job hopper when I didn't work for myself. But I'd even argue right now, in my careers, I still am a job hopper. I just have lots of different jobs.
Bunny bounces, bounce.
But the thing is, I can jump around all those jobs because they're all grounded in the same thing.
And the thing is broad, because if anyone doesn't know, Melissa's doing if you're like more recent here, and you're like, oh yeah, Melissa directs audiobooks. That did not start, a very long time ago.
That started because I went to a writing retreat, which is another one of my jobs.
Yeah.
I went to a writer's retreat. They knew that I did podcasting. One of the people that was putting on the event knew that I was a podcaster and they worked for Penguin Random House and asked me, would I be interested in directing audiobooks? And I said, I didn't know audiobooks had directors.
And then the pandemic happened and I needed an audiobook director.
And I had already gone through some training.
Yep.
And so then we did it. And since then I've directed over like 70 books and one has been nominated for a Grammy and they've been nominated for several of the books I've directed have been nominated for Audio Awards.
Yeah.
And I say this because you said that there are a lot of things in your job that you dislike and you're barely doing the things that you actually like. So I think where you would probably thrive is freelancing because I have contracts with the big audiobook companies and also smaller ones too, where I'm not doing one job at a time. I'm doing different audiobooks when I want to do them, but also I'm doing podcasting and I do what podcasts I want to do, produce, and what we do in hosting podcasts, but also I'm writing scripted content too. Even with that, we have to wait to see if we get renewed for season 2 and then if I'll continue on when we're done with this first season. And I have so many, I'm going to be teaching a class in one class on audiobooks. I'm been asked to guest speak on different things. So I'm always doing something new. My days never look the exact same, but also I can, yesterday, I directed an audiobook in the morning. We recorded 2 episodes, but then I could go and get my hair done and be gone for several hours in the day.
Lasagna.
Yeah, and had subpar lasagna. And then while I was reviewing, don't blame me.
She brought her computer and said, I'll just do some work.
So I think you need to write down everything that you're good at and maybe do data entry because you said that that's part of your job. Do data entry for some companies, maybe a smaller company that doesn't need several small companies that don't need somebody full time. But you're working for all these companies where it gives you full-time income without you having to work for them full-time. Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in once a bouncer, always a bouncer. Bounce in a constructive way. Because if you try and hold yourself to not be a bouncer, some people are just bouncers.
Yes, I am a bouncer. I get bored.
Yes. And if you have ADHD, that is that in itself, not bouncing is masking. And masking is exhausting and trying to stick with something and find something to stick with, you will be chronically unhappy, chronically unsatisfied because that's just like not how your brain works. It is firing off on multiple cylinders, and like bouncing can be from like bouncing. It doesn't have to be job stuff. It can be bouncing to different hobbies. It can be like bouncing in this, like, but you just, instead of trying to like squash and quell that, like viewing that as like a negative character trait versus just like how you operate. And some people are stickers, some people are bouncers, other people are stickers. And like, there are pros and cons of both, but like one is not inherently better than the other. Like you just have to figure out which one you are and make that work for you. I was going to say, which is so lucky. I was going to say the only thing, if you are the primary like breadwinner, it's like, I was going to say maybe getting a part-time job that has good health benefits, but I don't think you need those where you live.
It's very hard to find a part-time job that has good health benefits.
So Starbucks does, but in like certain of those other, I think a couple other fast food places and stuff, but we know where you are. And I don't think that's, unless I'm very clearly misinformed, I do not think that is part of what yeah. So I think that like, if there is something that you like for stability, that is you like, okay, well, I need to make, I need to make X amount of money to cover our costs and do X, Y, and Z and all of that kind of stuff. And making the leap to like freelance and being able to make that certain amount of money freelance, like right off the bat, can be really intimidating and really hard. And then you can just like freeze. And then you're like, I don't know what to do. So I think like, whether that's staying in this job and finding things that you like that you can do outside of this job for money to build up like a freelancing thing, or there's nothing wrong with quitting this job and getting a job that you do not find draining, you don't find stimulating, you don't find draining. And so then you have the capacity to do all of these other things that you like and you enjoy and you're good at while building the freelance side of things. I think it is really hard to like find a job that you're like, oh my God, this would be perfect for me, because you're not wrong. Like the corporate stuff, it is a lot of fucking meaning. It's a lot of this kind of like just these things that you just have to kind of do. And in reality, what will make or break those situations are the people that you work with, because you will have to do shitty things and things that you don't want to do. But if you're doing it with people that you like, then you will enjoy it. But like, that's a really fucking hard thing to figure out. And I would say like, I love my man. He's a Capricorn through and through. And the job he is at now, he still has to like do the things he like, he hates a touch-in meeting. He's like, I would rather we be straightforward. Like he's very much like Melissa and I, and like can we just like cut to the chase? Let's do like X, Y, and Z, like really pragmatic in that sense. But he like really gets along with everyone who he works with. And so those things that are typically draining at another place are not nearly as draining, because the social, not even just like the social aspects, but like you get along with people, other people are on the same vibe and the same page. And that's a hard thing to like know when you're applying or interviewing for a job. But B, it's also like not, those people don't always stay. Like that kind of culture doesn't always stay there. So I think in general, instead of like finding a place that like you're okay with dealing with the things that you hate, it's like, what's a job that like isn't as draining for me? And then I find that stimulation and satisfaction somewhere else. And I can build that up. And like, that's how everyone I know who's done freelance has done it. Like it's never a cut and dry. Like I'm leaving this and I'm starting from the bottom.
Yes. You always have to, I say like as a freelancer, you always have to have that one thing that's like your steady income. And so like for me, podcasting has turned into, that's always my steady income. And then everything that I add on top of that is getting me to the money that I actually want to make. And I think for you would say like content creation is that.
I would say that, and also I'm at the point now, which was my next suggestion too, is like while you're figuring things out, start investing your money, because like that's a big thing that no one is able, in general, like no one is able to maintain a creative or freelance job style without either A, being beyond a jack of all trades, like also being an insomniac, like being able to bleed yourself dry and do every job which way to like make ends meet, or having a secondary income in a way of, some people have like a trust fund, but like even like small investments of your money that can just get you over, and then being able to live cheaply. Like those are things I would say that like not how I used to be whatsoever, but like that, especially someone with ADHD, that was one of the most helpful things that I did was when I had the money to invest and do that kind of stuff.
And very smart.
Yeah, and the younger you do it, and that was not on. That was our manager who was like, "Honey, we got to do this," and I was like, "I don't know how to do it. You figure that out." So it's just there's a lot of thinking ahead for the future because it's just not consistent. And I would say if you value consistency, as someone with AG, I do really like consistency. I'm not so great with it, but like for me, the podcast is consistency that I'm like, this is really helpful. This helps me structure the rest of my week. Like, so doing those things of being like, I think if I didn't have that, like, I think I would benefit from like someone who has like a retail job or like a barista, like something that adds like just routine and structure to your day. And then from there, expanding off that.
And I'd also say be flex. If you do go the freelancer route, be flexible and saying yes to things that you don't necessarily think that would put you on the track to what you actually want to do. But those little things build up to the big thing that you want to do. So when I came out here to LA, my goal was to be a writer producer. That was point blank. Actually, it was a writer director was my goal. And I would say, like, I've been here for 10 years now, 12 years now. I don't know, a long time. And last year was the first year that I was professionally getting paid to do everything that I wanted to do. So, but it all started like with me saying yes, I was able to move up in my career faster. So when I was working as an assistant, by chance, an editor for the podcast, for one of the podcasts we were working on at the time, was out of town. And then the producer of that podcast was like, you can edit, right? I had a very baseline understanding of editing because I had said yes before to an internship where I actually had reached out to a GoFundMe person that was funding a film, or was it Kickstarter? A Kickstarter person that was working on a film. I asked him, hey, can I shadow you while you're directing? He reached out to me and said, hey, I don't have anything right now for you to shadow for directing because we're still raising money. But would you like to come and work on this other project that's in post-production where we're doing, I need an assistant editor for that. And I said, I don't know how to edit. And he said, well, I'll teach you. So me saying yes to that gave me the basic skills to edit. And then I was able to say yes to this editing other job, which I stayed home that weekend and looked up YouTube and just studied how to edit using the basic skills I had. And then I edited so well that the producer was like, actually, do you want to take over the editing? Because this was great. And I said, sure, because then that was more money and more skills in my bag.
Yeah.
And then from there, because I was doing an excellent job assisting and editing, I moved up to producer. Because I was good at those things with the podcast, I was able to move up to producer for other projects that we were working on as well and be in the writer's room. Then like I said, when I went to this writer's retreat, I said yes to directing audiobooks. That saved me during the pandemic for consistent work.
Oh, yeah.
Also, saying yes to a lot of podcasts that I didn't necessarily want to work on, but they were paying me consistent revenue. Just to be clear, it's not any of the podcasts I'm working on now or anyone that I'm friends with.
Yeah.
That I've had podcasts with in the past either. But also, like, those doors just keep opening because I say yes and I search for new opportunities. So,
yeah, fake it till you make it. Lily always talks about how Beauty Break even like came to be, or how her and I kept working together was like they had someone else drop out for the initial shoot, and it was like a branded. I think it was like Sally Hansen was like it was just be like a 2-video thing. It was branded by like Sally Hansen or some Garnier something, and the person had dropped out.
Brand.
Yeah, person had dropped out, and they had hired there was like a marketing representative there who was like, hired out as freelance to do this. And so last minute she was like, fuck, holy shit. And like looked at who this person who dropped out, who they hung out with and who lives in the same area. And they found me. And then they reached out to me, and it was like so last minute that they almost felt like it was insulting. And then they were like, would you be able to do these different hairstyles? And I said, of course. I couldn't do them whatsoever. And I get on camera And like before, Lily's like, I meet Lily for the first time. She asked me if I could do them. And I was like, totally. And she's like, I fully believed her. And I started doing it. And I'm not really doing it well, but I'm like being really funny about it. And like, I'm like, that's close. And I'm like, it is engaging to watch. And then Lily was like, so she definitely like cannot do it, but like this is better than if she could have actually done it to this same level. And then she enjoyed working with me so much. And just the fact that I was like, yep, I can do it. I can do whatever. I can do whatever. That then she just started hiring me over and over and over again because I made it easy. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things that it's like, if I was being truthful and honest about my skill set and that level, I wouldn't have done that. And then none of you would have even had beauty break. Like, this is like how this whole thing spiraled and like how her and I became friends. But like,
I was going to say, and you got one of your best friends.
Yeah.
Out of
And
it
like,
too.
there's something about like, you should be really honest with yourself when you need to be, but you should also be incredibly delusional and lie to yourself and other people when you need to. And like when there's like a confidence aspect of this, like, and like, think about how like straight men do this. Like they think they overestimate and like state their resume. And in general, people who are not straight men don't. Like we just in general, we pull ourselves back and we make ourselves smaller. And there's something to be said about like blind confidence that can also, with ADHD, put you into a little bit of a panic, which you kind of get work done.
Yep.
So I've got high hopes for this for you.
Me too. All right, we're going to take another break. When we get back, we'll get into an update.
Choice Hotels get you more for your money so you can maximize any road trip. Let's get real close to hear the maximum sizzle of Comfort Inn's free hot breakfast. Maximized. Check into more. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
I'm Cyndi Lauper. My psoriasis was all over, even on my scalp, which may mean 4 times the risk for psoriatic arthritis. But Cosentyx works on both.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis 300 milligram dose and adults with active psoriatic arthritis 150 milligram dose. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some are fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Learn more at Cosentyx.com or 1-844-COSENTYX. Ask your doctor about Cosentyx.
We are back. It is time for an update.
So the original call was about someone who didn't want to hang out with their sister-in-law because they didn't like them, but they have children around the same age. And she felt guilty about not hanging out with her nibbling. I forgot if it was a niece or nephew.
Yeah. So this is the update. Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I wanted to provide an update to my submission that aired August 29th, 2024 regarding my sister-in-law. I really appreciated your thoughtful responses. My husband and I have been trying to practice radical acceptance, as Melissa suggested, and have continued spending time with her in neutral spaces like county fairs, etc., which Meghan also recommended. There have definitely been more issues since August, but I still feel pulled to have a close relationship with my niece. I love her and I love children. I also want her to have a relationship with my son. The challenge is that my sister-in-law's ongoing behavior, even just the small side comments. For example, at a recent family party, my sister-in-law loudly said, "I find all newborns are ugly," while I stood there holding my 3-month-old. She is also pregnant. If it helps, I don't find 3-month-olds ugly. My husband and I are in couples therapy, and we both recognize that addressing this kind of behavior typically results in us being painted as quote unquote too sensitive. Still, I struggle with playing nice just to see my niece. It's petty, but I'm resentful that my in-laws tolerate this behavior. My husband has tried to talk to his brother privately, but he just defends himself and his wife. Even that medical lie. Yeah, she lied about having this, this is for anyone who doesn't remember. She lied about having this serious medical condition and issue. And then
haha. No?
Yeah, and then was no, that was not I lied. That wasn't even possible. It wasn't even a mix up. It was straight up no, I didn't. And there was no way I could have haha. And everyone's supposed to move past it.
And she posted it on Instagram.
Yes. Even that medical lie proven through her own Instagram story was never apologized for, only rationalized. I waver between going no contact or continuing to endure this for the sake of my niece and future children. I'm working towards accepting that I may be in this for the long haul until they all turn 18 and can choose to spend time with me or not. I wish you'd given us more examples besides that I find all newborns are ugly.
In my family, there are certain people that I don't particularly like, but I love their children. So I just deal with it and sidebar and express my grievances with other people in the family that also do not like this person. And so we can have our own, in the same way that you're speaking with your husband and your therapist, we can have our own conversations to the side. I'm able to be in the same room with this person because I love their children so much that they're just there. They exist. And deep down, I do love this person.
Piss you off a little.
But they piss me off a lot. I wouldn't even say a little bit. 90% of the time they piss me off, which is a lot.
Yeah, there's only 10% that they're not.
Right.
And it's probably 10% you're not there.
It's actually better when I am there, I will say.
Oh. Yeah. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, but knowing that everybody else also cannot stand them, it makes it easier to go through the situation.
You got way too comfortable.
I did. I also talk shit to them to their face, but they see it more as a loving, enduring thing.
Yeah. I was going to say, because I think that while that comment is not kind, and I'm sure it felt pointed at you, she's also pregnant, about to have a kid, and I don't want to come across as insensitive, but a lot of newborns do look a little wild, a little crazy. And I think in general, people, once you've had a baby and you see your baby and you're oh my God, and it shifts. And I think it shifts in you how you view all newborn babies, because it brings back all these memories and stuff. So if it, in general, I think there's this, I think you have this more of a universal, I don't want to say you're viewing this as this family, oh, I want my niece, the cousins, and you're viewing this. And I think she's just spitting off the fucking dome. I think you're really thinking long-term and lineage and tradition and family and childhood and growing up and all and community and all of these things. And so when she makes comments like that, it can feel directly opposed to you. I think she's just saying shit. At least for this example, it is also insulting to her because she had a kid and she's about to have another kid. So I think with your 3-month-old, I don't think I would never consider a 3-month-old newborn, in the sense of sometimes they look like aliens or whatever. But
yeah. Isn't newborn 0 to 3 months anyway? So your babies.
Yeah, that could have been a compliment. That could have been looking real cute. And so, but I understand how, compiled with her other behavior, it feels my God, another thing. Can't you just keep your mouth fucking shut? And to that, I would say, what if you adopt the mentality? What if you adopt the mentality of being at a party and there's a dog there, where you're I'm going to go hang out with the dog? Do you know how many times I elect to sit at a children's table? Do you know how many times?
I love sitting at a children's table.
I live to sit. If I hear people talking about something that it doesn't have to be problematic, it can just be boring to me. I go, who wants to play Uno? And I will go, I will be Disney princess. I will hang out with the fucking kids. And that is fun. I've at parties of people who I didn't know that well, hung out with one of Matz's best friends. Matz's best friend, Hank, his parents were there. I sat on the couch and hung out with Hank's mom and dad the whole time. Everyone's Megan, you're not. And I was no, I mean, they're not drinking. I'm not drinking. We're hanging out over here. There's just something about you don't have to adhere, especially when someone is not adhering to I'm not even gonna say traditional social norms, but just it's conducting themselves in how they communicate in their life and the lying and in ways that you find not only like engaging to participate in, like it makes you feel like you got a fire. It makes you feel some type of fucking way. So to me, I'm like, then you get to abandon all sorts of like typical norms of like the adults sit here and the adults talk together about this kind of stuff. It's like, well, this adult fucking lied about being fucking sick and all this shit. So like, I'm not going to then be buttoned up enough for the both of us or like make this to be the most like typical relationship because it's not going to be. So I think in that sense, it's like, you don't like, I would truly just like not engage with her and hang out with her. And in addition to that, if I have to, I would say something to her face in the moment.
Yeah. And that's what I do. And
I do that. I do to people I'm not related to, where I literally go, you can't say that. Or like, no, let's not. Or that was an odd thing to say. Like, should we talk about that? Like, there is just, and I understand that you're feeling like, I think you're doing it. I think the thing that you're running into is you are towing the line with being like, this is my in-laws, but then you're also being like, this is my cousin's family. If you really want to have those close family ties, you need to stop tiptoeing around the family aspect. If it's family, it's family. Yeah. And then like, speak your truth, be honest, talk about it. If you want it to be like delegated in the sense of like, well, I want my partner to deal with this and all of these kinds of interactions or whatever, then you can't want the cousins to be close. You can't want to be a huge part of your niece's life.
You're separating yourself from being part of the family.
Yes. And if you want to be an aunt, you are a part of the family. You're not an in-law.
Yep.
And also remember that like those kids do not view you any less of a relative because you're married. Like that means nothing to them.
Because she's also an in-law.
Yes. So I think that, yeah.
You have equal standing ground in this family.
No, sister-in-law versus sister-in-law. Yeah. If you are not united, you're allowed to be arch enemies. And like, you're allowed, like, you do not have to go through someone else to like talk to whatever. And I think because of like, you're building this resentment towards his parents and all of this kind of stuff, like you need to start living this life and interacting with her in a way that feels good to you because no one else is going to do it in a way that feels good to you.
Yeah.
So like, it has to be enough for just you. And if it's not enough for just you, after you're like, I'm going to call her out. I'm going to like not spend time with her. I'm going to hang out with the kids and do all that. If it's like still not feeling good for you, then do not go because it will affect the relationships of the cousins. It will affect all of that. And, you know, that tension. But I just go to the kids' table.
Right. Even when my friends have big parties and I don't necessarily like their friends, I'll hang out with the kids.
I mean, like 100%. And everybody's like, where's the dog at the party? And I go, where's the chatty kid with the glasses that are goggled to the back of it, like tightly strapped on? Well, give us another update. I hope this goes better. And pregnancy hormones, maybe things will shift and fluctuate and she'll
level out.
Yeah, she'll be like, I don't know. And maybe she'll have like a really difficult baby that will make her like humble herself, or she'll have a really easy baby after having like a very difficult one and it'll like mellow her out.
Or her baby will come out really ugly. I don't wish that on a child. I just wish.
Well, who cares? It doesn't. You grow out of it.
In the eyes of her, that her child comes out ugly, but it's actually not an ugly child.
No, I hope it is an objectively ugly baby that she views as so beautiful. And then when the baby turns at 6 months and she looks at those pictures, she goes, "Oh, I should never have said that before." Because, yeah. And like, I'll be real. I haven't said it to the people, but like, I've talked about people's babies being like, they used to, it was a little undercooked.
Yeah.
And like,
I have, when I was a child, I did say that about one child.
To your fellow child.
I got in a lot of trouble. Well, like I was maybe like 6 and they were newborn. I was older than that, 8 probably. And then they were newborn. I was like, But I didn't mean for the adults to hear it. I was just saying it to other people around my same age, and the adults heard it. I got in trouble. But that baby grew into be a very beautiful adult.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
Scam artist, but a very beautiful adult. But she's able to use her looks to scam.
So you're really her villain origin story. That baby heard and said, I will be so hot. I will actually use my hotness to be a menace in everyone's life. Yes. I will use my hotness for my own personal advantage and to ruin other people's lives. Kind of love that. Big Joker energy. We all need an origin story.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to call in, write in for upcoming episodes if you need advice. If you have already been on an episode, we've given you advice and you would like to give us an update. Also, call in, write in. You can fill out the form. There's just different ways to do that. It's all very self-explanatory. We make it easy for you. And if you would like to write and call in with advice to something we talked about on this episode or a previous episode, you have your own advice to give the caller, you can also do that. That's like a segment we do, Don't Blame Them. We will shift between doing a Don't Blame Them and an update. So we didn't have any of those today. But if you'd like to give advice to someone, maybe you have said that all newborns are ugly and you were handed a slice of humble pie. And how did that happen? What can we get an Etsy wish? What can we get an Etsy witch to wish for to happen to the sister-in-law for her to come to her senses?
So join us tomorrow for Fisting Friday. On Monday, we'll have a new episode of But Am I Wrong? Tuesday, we've got See You Next Tuesday. Wednesday, listen to a random episode. And I do see that y'all are listening to more random episodes than ever. Thursday, we'll be back for a new episode of Don't Blame Me.
And we hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.
Bye.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Can you actually change your personality if you want to? How does peer pressure work, and why is it so powerful? Should you ever really trust your gut when you make a big decision? These are just a few of the topics we've recently covered on my podcast, Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and each episode of Something You Should Know covers multiple topics that are likely relevant to you. You'll discover things you can use in your life today, right now, like how to have a great conversation, how to be more courageous, the anatomy of the perfect apology, and much, much more. To date, there are over 1,000 episodes of Something You Should Know, and we've gotten over 4,000 mostly 5-star reviews. I invite you to check out Something You Should Know. Look for the bright yellow light bulb on the blue background. Something You Should Know, wherever you listen to podcasts.
From the podcast that brought you to each of the last lesbian bars in the country and back in time through the sapphic history that shaped them, comes a brand new season of cruising beyond the bars. This is your host, Sarah Gabrielli, and I've spent the past year interviewing history-making lesbians and queer folks about all kinds of queer spaces, from bookstores to farms to line dancing and much more.
For 11 years, every night women slept illegally on the common.
We would move down to the West Indies to form a lesbian nation.
Meg Kristen coined the phrase women's music, but she would have liked to say it was lesbian music.
And that's kind of the origins of the Comedy Hero Collective.
You can listen to Cruising on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes air every other Tuesday starting February 4th.
Let's hang out. I'm Ellie.
And I'm Lee, and we're the co-hosts of Let's Hang Out, a show about LGBTQ representation in the media, because representation matters. Come hang out with us to talk about all of the characters that should have been gay.
Because every movie or TV show would be better if it was gay.
Listen to us interview your favorite LGBTQ actors and creators.
Elise Bauman from Carmilla.
It just reminds me of like every time a queer woman becomes single, there's like this high-pitched siren that goes out that like only other queer women can hear, and they're like, what was that? Like, did I just hear the bat signal? Is a queer woman single again?
So binge on Let's Hang Out wherever you listen to podcasts, and hang out with us every Monday for your weekly LGBTQ fix.
I'm Ellie.
And I'm Lee. And let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out.